Welcome to another tutorial. My name is Lineke Lijn and let's get started. What you can see here is some squirrels that I've already drawn, and I have studied this lovely creature with graphite pencil, but I've also tried some charcoal pencil, which is also very nice for this study. And for this tutorial I'm also using the Fineliners. Those are ink-based pencils, and here you can see what we're going to do. I'm going to draw the squirrel sitting up, so I'm using kind of a blending of both techniques. So let's get started. For the setup I'm using a standard 2B pencil, or you can also use an HB if you want. And first I position in the head and the pointy ears on top of the head. Here is where the eye will be and the entrance of the nose. Then I work my way down. This is the top body with the front paws that are coming out of them and the cute little fingers the little squirrels have. Then I head further down for the middle part of the body and the back line. The squirrel will be sitting down, so what you can also see is the bended back paws with the knees and the little toes that come out of the back feet, the back legs if you want. Then you see the belly line and the other back paw. Here from the back the tail heads up, and it's a long tail, and it's moving even farther than the head is. This is the bottom where the squirrel is sitting on. Maybe it's the bottom of the forest or something. But I always want to draw in a little bit of space where my subject is sitting. Then I take the fine liner. What I do with the fine liner is I'm drawing in, and what I keep notice of and what is very, very important is that I draw in the direction the way the hair grows. The hairs on the head are quite short, so I use very short strokes to give an appearance of hair, and I also use it for the shadows that are beneath the nose or the mouth, and also for the ears. Here the hairs are growing straight up, and also for the little hairs that are on top, the tip hair on the ears, and a little bit around the nose. Here you can see the inside of the ear, so I draw in a little bit of shadow, and then the hairs that are growing straight up. The eye is really, really shiny, so I make that quite dark. This is where the tail will be, And here a little bit of shadow on the nose itself. For the upper body, the hairs are a little bit longer. So now I'm using a little bit longer strokes also. This is where the front paw will be. And also here I try to keep drawing in the way that the hair grows. So it's kind of rounded. And then I go down to the little fingers. They kind of have hands like people, and they are very, very handy and quick with it. And maybe draw in a little bit of seed that he's holding in his little fingers, his little hands. And here the line for the belly. Now the hairs on the belly are a little bit lighter than the rest of the hairs. So I simply spare it out. Here the skin is a little bit wrinkly, and I keep drawing downwards. Here you can see I keep getting notice of the way, the direction of the hair. And on the back leg I draw in not too much darkness, so that the knee really pops out, so that, well, it gives it its dimension that he is sitting down. Then here underneath I draw in a little bit of shadow again. And then I move forwards to the back paw. Here you can see the little toes that are on his feet. And I just give a kind of an impression that there are toes going on there. Maybe the face can use a little bit more expression. But I am really careful to keep that whiteness around the eyes, because this is very typical for a squirrel. Now it's time for the hairs on the tail. When you're drawing this squirrel in pencil, you can use a softer pencil. So maybe you've drawn in the whole squirrel with HB. Then for the tail you can use a 4B or a 6B. In this case, when I'm using Fineliners, I'm simply taking a little a fineliner that's a little bit broader, a little bit thicker. Now the hairs on the tail are more sturdy than the hairs on the body itself. And I want to make a difference between the hairs of the body and the hairs of the tail. Also here, on this tail, I draw in the direction, the way the hair grows. It is nice to do this with a fineliner in this case, so you can really see and have a good look what direction I draw in. Hello, cat. Now that thicker fineliner you can also use for a little bit of detail on the body itself, of course. But the most of it I use for the tail. Here you can use it for the little bit of shadow underneath the chin and more detail for the little fingers. So that's all a possibility, but I use it more scarce. Here for the bottom, just a little bit of shadow with the thicker fine liner, and it gives your drawing somewhat more sparkle. What you can also do is drawing a little bit of background. Of course, you can choose anything you want. You can make a complete forest around your squirrel if you want, or some seeds that are laying on the ground. And what's also very nice to bring out some texture. So you can see good differences between what is hair, and for instance here I'm drawing in some kind of trench that is in the background, a tree or something. And as you can see, for a wood structure, I use quite different lines than I did for the hair. Now what's also very nice, if you are using fine liners, is the fine liners that have, they have hairs too, and you can use them as a brush. Now the effect is that you can use it really sharpish, but you can also use it in a broad way. Now it's like painting a little bit. It gives your drawing extra sparkle. You can see it here, for instance. When I'm using it in the tail, I'm using it as a flat brush. Then I can make pop out some hairs that are really dark. Be careful with it, because, well, as I was saying, once the ink is there, you cannot erase it again. Once you've done your inky drawing, you can always switch back to a graphite pencil. Now the nice thing about the graphite is that it gives a gray tone, and it stands out really nice against the really black tones of your inky pencils. I use my graphite pencil really flat. So I'm using the side of the graphite itself. Now you can see very nicely the color difference between the ink and the graphite. It gives your drawing extra sparkle and somewhat more of a 3D effect if you want, if you like. You can use it also beautifully in the tail itself. Just use it for some little shadows or fine hairs. It's all possible. And what is also very nice, of course, to bring out the whites around the eyes, you can always use a blender stick. You can rub in your graphite into the inky drawing. and then give it that really soft touch. It's very nice to practice with this. It's so lovely to draw this kind of studies. Maybe one day you are in a zoo or something, and then you can make some photographs. And well, the problem with animals is that they are never sitting still, so you can always make some pictures and work them out at home. Well, I'm signing up right here, and I'm drawing in my name now. I wish you all the luck with this drawing, and I hope to see you in one of my other tutorials. Take care, bye bye.